lights, 5 lights are on, off. That was a very quick change, and I'm going in field. Further back, 1 goes.
Hi guys, so that's the end of the weekend at Combe, and as you can see, that's us driving away in the van, just off to the campsite close by, because it's too long a journey to do at this time of night. So how did today go? Well, race 2 didn't exactly go to plan. I got a really good start compared to race 1 yesterday.
Have given a donation to the marshals, so thank you very much for that today. What a wonderful championship. Here we go, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights are on, off. That was a very quick change, and I'm going in field. Further back, 1 goes. Very steady at getting away there, but thankfully he is going through the gears now, and everybody managed to avoid that. But into the lead goes the sunny all day and hardly any wind compared to the horrible winds and rain we had. But anyway, so yeah, I got off to a good start. I managed to get round some cars and overtook some people. No man's land, but genuinely frustrating. Pretty good, although that grey car is now up to the road.
And then it all went wrong after, what was that, 3 laps?
3 laps, and then
yeah, so coming down the pit straight, and you changed to 5th at the end of the straight there, and I did, and suddenly just no power well, not no power, it just lost power. So I was like, why aren't you still accelerating, come on? And then I looked at the dash and all the lights were on, and I was like, oh great, what's happening? Down to the next corner, and I was like, this is not great, like what am I going to do, like do I keep going? And I was like, nope, the engine light's still on, I don't want to brake the car, I don't want to brake the engine. So I was going to pull off. I noticed another car had pulled off to the side at that point as well, and then the engine light went out, and I was like, alright, okay, maybe it's not dead. And I put the foot down again, still no power. It wasn't like, there was drive but there was no acceleration. So I was like, okay, I'll limp it back to the pits. I don't want to break it, I don't want to destroy the engine, I don't know what's wrong at this point. So I limped it back to the pits, and I said to Stephen, there's no point in staying in the pit lane, there's nothing you can do if I need to come in, which was true. But I didn't know where anybody was, so I was just kind of like in on my own, and the marshals came up to me like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know, the car's not happy, it sounds terrible.
And I'd gone so far away, I'd gone to a point just round from the last corner where I could see the start and everything. So I'd gone so far away, and I saw Emma coming down into the pits, like crawling down. I legged it as fast as I could, but I still, there was still ages till I got there.
I don't know what's wrong with the car. Am I leaking oil? Am I leaking oil? Is it leaking oil? Okay. It's lost power. It sounds like shit. I don't know what's going on.
Sorry, I dropped them when over.
It sounds like shit. It just lost power. Yeah, anyway, so someone else came over to help and we're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, where's your crew? I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, I knew the car couldn't go out again, the noises it was making. Like, it would start, but it sounded terrible. It turns out the the supercharger belt had snapped, and the reason being was, what was it, broke?
The tensioner, basically the casting of the tensioner had just sheared in half. Don't know why, poor casting, maybe they're just made of aluminium, but yeah, just the casting and tensioner just sheared.
So yeah, just as well I did come in, because obviously the belt also runs the water pump. So if I stayed out and I still had, what, 9 minutes left on the clock or something at this point,
Oh yeah, you just boiled
the car would have overheated. So yeah, I'm glad I came in. So unfortunately that was a DNF in race 2. And then we had ages, because that was like at 10:30 this morning, and then the next race was until 4:30 this afternoon, so we had ages to fix it. Unfortunately we didn't have the belt tensioner. We had loads of belts because it kept snapping like last year. But yeah, we didn't have the tensioner, so we put out a plea to the paddock, and luckily someone had one. So we fitted, or we were trying to fit that, and then you discovered, what else did you discover?
So when the tensioner had snapped, it had been running on the bottom crank pulley, and it basically ground away. So the bottom crank pulley has 6 grooves. It ground away 2 of the grooves. Grounding them away relatively smooth, but it's not ideal. So it's like, right, okay, we put another plate to see if anybody had a bottom pulley.
And then 2 turned up at once.
Yeah, 2 turned up. So yeah, that was great. So right, okay, I'll start working on trying to get the bottom pulley off. And I just could not get that bottom pulley off. And I didn't want to do something that would completely immobilise the car, because the main aim is obviously just to get Emma back out there. So after fighting with it for a while, I'm just like, right, okay, we're just going to have to try and clean up this bottom pulley as best we can, chuck a belt on it, and see if it'll run.
And at this point I was really not happy, because Stephen had said to me in anger at this point that he'd destroyed the engine or something along those lines. There was lots more swearing involved. So he literally just told me that, and then was like, go and race the car. And I'm like, you just told me you've broken the car. I don't want to go and race a damaged car.
I just had a bit of a hissy fit with the car. I'm just like, throw my toys on the tram kind of thing.
So I wasn't very happy, and then he's like, oh, someone else came over and he was like, oh, you can see that there's 2 teeth missing. And I'm like, it's just, I can see the state of this pulley at this point. I'm like, it's just going to snap another belt. I don't want to go out and race and have someone right behind me and me to suddenly lose power like I did in the last race, and them to go in the back of me or something like that. So I really was unhappy about going out in the car. So I was like, right, go and take it around the paddock. I don't trust the car right now, and for me to drive the car the way I want to drive it, I need to have 100% faith in it. And I didn't after what he just said. So
so anyway, I fit the new belt and everything, and I took it for a couple of laps around the paddock and gave it as much boost as I could, trying to stick to the 15 miles per hour speed limit around the paddock. Came back and checked the belt. The belt was absolutely perfect, like hadn't been like eaten into or anything like that. So at that point I was like, just race it.
But then other people had started to come over at this point, and they were like, oh, but just drive it like 3/4, you know? I was like, I know I can't do that. Like, I'm out there to race. I don't want to have to crawl round. That's not a race. So yeah, and then I think after a few hours, and we'd started to obviously pack up a little bit, because I wanted to just go home at that point. But then after everything had calmed down a bit, I was like, alright, fine, I'll take it out, see what happens. And yeah, went out for race 3, and again I got a great start off the line, got some good battles with people. Yeah, it was actually quite a good race, and I finished the race, which is the most important thing. So it wasn't as great as it could have been, but for the car not really being 100%, it was actually quite good. It's a really nice track. Stephen's been here before when he was a kid with his grandparents.
Yeah, so on a personal note for me, like I was last year here maybe 25 years ago, and you know, if I had been able to tell myself back then that, you know, in 25 years time you'll be there, you'll be in that exact spot watching your car go round, like that would have been the thing for me. Like,
yeah. So that was pretty cool. And
so, yeah.
He found the exact same spot that him and his grandfather stood and watched the cars go round.
Yeah, well that's when I filmed you at race 3 today. That was the exact spot I used to watch at.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a good weekend, and like Stephen's parents were down for the weekend, and thanks to Richard from RG Motors for coming down and watching us, and obviously Bad Boy Tuning as well. They were there this weekend with one of their other drivers, and yeah, it was just great. So as you can imagine, Stephen now has some work to do on the car again, so I'm sure you'll see those videos soon. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.